All right. We do have a couple of hands up in the attendee room. First is John Comstock. I will allow John to talk now.
Hi, can I be, can you switch on my camera? I have a new t-shirt that I bought at Savers. I think it's pretty funny and relevant.
You should be able to come on now.
Okay, let's see.
I see a tree and a bunch of stuff there.
That's a nice shirt.
Yeah,
Wait, that was a picture.
I can't see myself on there, but anyway, it's an Andy of Mayberry shirt with Andy and a sidekick, and it says "No crime in our hood." And so anyway, I thought it was funny. I just found it today.
Okay.
$2. But anyway, I'm a neighbor. I live at Southern and Monroe Southeast, and you know, my wife and I are longtime residents, and we're interested in safety in our neighborhood and the whole area, the whole Southeast Command area. You know, the commander sounds good, and I'm so glad that you know, that there's so many people working on the homelessness issue. That seems to be, you know, one of the main kind of like detractions or, you know, things that you know, bother us, and we're all sad for that people. Well, I should say my wife and I are sad. I'm sure a lot of people are sad about it. You know, I don't give money to people on the street corners myself, but you know, I'm sure there's a lot of good organizations working on the problem, and you know, I just want to see more people in
All right. Thank you very much, John. I think Sandra Perea was next.
Good evening. So I'm Sandra Perea, the president of Elder Homestead Neighborhood Association. And first of all, I just want to thank you all. You spectacular presentation this evening of speakers and information, and the overall theme of we all need to be working together to make our community safer. So thank you all for putting this meeting together. But then secondly, of course, I have a question for Commander Language. I don't know if he's still on. So my question is, in the monthly statistics that are provided, and I know I've asked this question a couple times, but will statistics about crimes against children or child abuse in any crimes that are listed, will those ever be public just because they're children or not? Thank you.
Sandra, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Got you, Commander.
I apologize. I had to because I'm driving now, hands free though. So, so I hope you can hear me. I hope there's not any noise in the background. I'm gonna ask Mike if you can help me with this. Maybe if we could carve out some time at the next CPC meeting, I could have the special victims section lieutenant maybe give a presentation on how that information and data is collected and how they work with their federal partners too. Would that be okay? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't want to misspeak. I have an idea, but I just want to make sure that that's the case. And I think the best address it would be to have the actual, you know, supervisor in charge of crimes against children and the sex crimes unit talk about that.
That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
I'd like to comment on that. One of my neighbors is a detective with crimes against children, and I'll walk over to talk to her sometime. and then make the invitation. Yeah, I've added that as a possible presentation soon.
And the only reason I bring that up, of course, is because it's the summertime, school is out, children are on the streets. And so I just want to make sure that we have the information to be informed of what to watch out for.
No, I think that's great, Sandra. It's very important. Internally, we have switched our reporting platform. We have a whole new reporting platform and conforming with NIBRIS. And there's a few things I don't quite understand it really, but with this new system, I just want to make sure that we can answer that question accurately. So, Mike, I know you just said you have a detective neighbor, but I'll get with you after I talk to Lieutenant, and hopefully they can give a presentation where there's no questions left on the table.
Thank you, Commander.
Okay, I think Amir was next.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I won't be long. My name is Amir Chappell. I was a District 6 Carlisle and Gibson resident for 8 years. And then I moved to Northwest Albuquerque, and I was in the county area, which District 4, for 3 years before I relocated to California. I'm a convicted felon. I've lied on my job application, and I got a job at the police department in Albuquerque. And unfortunately, you know, the truth always comes to light, and I had to resign. But let me tell you, one thing I learned about while working at the Albuquerque Police Department was my ability to engage and build relationships and close gaps and draw people together, even within an organization, was unparamount. And I think that is vital to all the work that we heard tonight. Gary Coffin and Gloria from the DA's office talked about, you know, the community prosecution program. And they also talked about some of the challenges around data sharing that they can't get from CYFD and the JPOs and that kind of data. And the DA's office probably has data, and APD has data, and units within these departments have data, and everybody's real funny about data sharing. But there is one way to overcome those challenges, and that is through the building of relationships. Commander Langwood was talking about all the initiatives that he was referring to about APD engaging the community. I don't know what area Commander Langwood's in, but it sounds like he was reporting for the Southeast, but he's been all around the department. And so he is the right person to be in that community, to engage the community and leverage the relationships within the community to solve the community problems. Like he said, homelessness is not a problem the police department will ever solve alone. They will only be able to do that through community. And so finally, we know that crime is the #1 issue. The chief said it early on. And crime is an issue everywhere, not just in Albuquerque. But there was some good news. There was a 27% decrease from last year to this year, homicides year to date, right? He said 36 and then 26 or 27 this year, determining on whether or not they're deemed justifiable or whatever. So the gun violence intervention program can very much help the violence problem in Albuquerque. And the simplicity around it is this. In every city that we look at around the country, and I do this work nationally for the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, every city that you look at, there is less than 1% of the population that's responsible for the gun violence in particular. And since that number is generally manageable, 1% of Albuquerque's population is around 400 or so people, 500 or so people at most. That's a manageable population. If we know who those trigger pullers are, we can intensively engage them with a team of services, which include, you know, housing, mental health, employment, all those things that a police department can never provide. The vital component that the police department plays in that apparatus, they're the stick. So if you don't comply, if you don't want to engage these services, if you still want to be a knucklehead out there, well, we're going to have to enforce things. So basically, yes, ma'am, I did mean 0.1%. Yes, it's a very small amount of people. And thank you for that. And so I just wanted to say collectively, collaboratively, in an engaging and open and transparent way, if everyone could work together to get community partners, system partners, And then not only just system partners, but system partners within the departments, right? There's still silos within organizations. So if we could leverage and capitalize these relationships, we can work more effectively, like Commander Langwood said, in a collaborative, transparent way and see real solutions, right, that are community-based. The community, the most impacted people need to be a part of this process. So I'm really glad to see young people, Angelo. I'm glad to see the OGs on the chair. I'm glad to see leadership from the department here. I'm glad to see community advocates here, Patrick and everybody else. And so I just want to really hone in and harp upon people to cross those lines, get a little uncomfortable, talk to people you normally wouldn't talk to leverage, get information, build these relationships, and go to a common goal. So I really appreciate the time, and thank you for me allowing me to introduce myself.
Mike, can I jump in there real quick?
Right ahead, sir.
Amir, you're absolutely right. And what I'm going to say next, you don't have to agree with. I think you're absolutely right, but I think everyone needs to realize that it's not going to happen overnight. Like to do it right, like you just described, it's going to take time and it's going to take commitment, you know. And I'm real big on action items. If we're going to have a meeting because we want to reach this goal, let's come up with action items so we can get there. Remembering though that this what we're talking about, it's not going to happen overnight. It may take some time, but again, I feel like if we do it right, it'll be sustainable though. I don't know if you agree with that. Just my opinion.
Okay, I think next was Patrick, and then we can finish up with Mr. Sanchez.
Greetings. My name is Patrick Baird. I'm a community organizer there in the Southeast, and I also work for the city of Albuquerque. I just want to be real brief. I'm just really excited about this board. I'm really excited about Mike. Thank you for sending all the emails, but I really like the energy of this board. And I'm going to put my email in. So if anybody have any questions about what happened in the past, I'm more than happy to sit down and have coffee with you after Ramadan. And I'm just really proud about the board and the energy that the energy moving forward. So I'm just going to keep it brief. And I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you for attending, sir.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right. All right.
I was so grateful I didn't have to follow Amir. Man, that was fantastic. Amir, I'm just amazing. I'm just so proud of you, and you keep doing what you're doing in our communities. I have the privilege of being the president of Fair West Neighborhood Association. I've been part of living in Fair West, which is, of course, part of the International District. At least we consider ourselves part of the International District, and living here for about 15 years. I ran for a House Rep seat this last year, and it was quite the experience. And I want to speak a little bit about that to all of you. I think it's incredibly important that you remember to hold people accountable for the taxpayer money that's being spent in Santa Fe and allotted appropriately, and hopefully more appropriately in the future. For the success of our communities, we really need to pay attention to how those resources are managed and spent. And the only way that that's going to happen is if we hold our elected officials accountable. We can do that in very positive ways. I've worked as a lobbyist up in Santa Fe for 15 years on behalf of patients, their caregivers, and healthcare providers, especially independent physicians. And I want to tell you, it's incredibly important that we have strong systems to support everything that we're doing here in our communities, especially in education and healthcare. Access to healthcare is one of the biggest issues that our homeless population faces. We can't forget about them. We need to hold out our hands to them as often as we can and do all we can to support what's going on with APD, how they support the homeless population, and what we can do as business leaders to continue to do that. I'm going to tell you, I'm so proud to see little Angelo here. Angelo, you tell people at school that the community cares, because we do care, and you keep telling them at school that there's a lot of people involved in making sure that Albuquerque is held up as a community. Keep doing that, kid, because we need more people like you, okay? Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time. And thank you, Mike, for staying after me. I appreciate you and all your efforts so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment tonight?
If I could just make a brief comment, I just want to respond to Amir. I when I graduated law school, the last place that I thought I'd be working was the DA's office. I'll be clear. I also am a convicted felon who has passed law school and passed the bar. So I put that out there because the reason why I took this role is an opportunity to make a difference in the community that I felt I could be an active member of and play an active role in. What I've found is that communication between various agencies is an important part of solving the problems that we have. I think you're 100% right. What I've also found, though, is that it's very difficult. It's a challenge, and takes a lot of commitment to make sure that those agencies that continue to communicate and continue to share data and continue to work together towards the same goal. This becomes especially challenging as leaders shift and people change and staffs change. We're talking about agencies that employ close to 1,000 people all working together, and to get all 1,000 people on the same page is an extreme challenge. But with the community support and with the right people in place, over a long period of time, we can get to where we need to be. So I thank you for your comment.
Okay. Well, with that, Mike, I guess we're just about at time. Would you like to have some closing words?
I will send out try to make it brief email to the folks who attended tonight and simply provide a link to some updates that I'll post next week early on. And I'm looking forward to getting active with all of you folks out in the community. Find one way or another to do it. Anything else from other CPC members?
I guess that takes us to the end of our meeting. As usual, we're going to be on the third Thursday of the month. Third or fourth? Third Thursday of the month,
Third.
yeah. Next month in May. Hopefully we will be in person, but we will let you know. Thank you for all attending. Thank you, APD, and thank the Southeast CPC for their efforts. And we will see you next month. Ron?
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Good night.
everyone also. Thank you.
Be safe.
Right. Night.
Hey, Mike, I have a question.
Okay.
I'm ready to do all the work of the summer with the stuff that we were discussing with me, you, and Callie.
Yeah.
So just want to let you know.
Okay. I'm hoping that my summer is a little bit lighter workload as well.
Okay.
It's just been, I can't even explain what my day was like, but I have you on my hit list.
Okay.
And hi, Maria. How you doing, Maria? We didn't say hi. Okay. So
Okay.
have a good evening. And how you doing, Dr. Rickman? We'll talk tomorrow.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call it quits.